Yeah, well, and this word keeps popping up, right? Authenticity is one of these key levers to successful brand advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
So then what are some of the blockers to that authenticity? Firstly, what are the things that maybe prevents a business from seeing even that authentic or being that authentic
Yeah.
version themselves? What springs to mind there?
Well, let me tell you, the number one thing that comes to mind for me is applying the same rules and KPIs of your business to your advocacy. They're two different things.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're looking to do an initiative in September and you want to see returns on that advocacy initiative by the end of the fourth quarter, you got another thing coming. Advocacy and social interest, social impact don't work that way. The metrics are completely different. And so I think a lot of times people are like, I'm game, but what are the KPIs? What are the KPIs? And they expect it to look very similar, and they don't. And that stops people from moving forward because they want the short-term gratification and they're not willing to be patient and write it out. That being said, two of the biggest examples that I talk about, Patagonia and Ben and Jerry's, as it relates to being best in class on this, have seen nothing but their sales increase. So it's not that KPIs aren't important.
Yeah.
It's just that they look very different for social impact, and they start to meet as over time as you solidify that brand, but it's not immediate.
Yeah. I love that. I want to talk to that in a second with this idea of time and the KPIs. You can't take the KPIs and have a quarter four, this is the expectation. It chips away. And as an L&D guy, learning and development guy, it's the same with learning. You can't expect behavior to change through uncurated 1 minute freaking video content just being degustated all the time. That doesn't change behavior, right? Action of pausing to how does this apply to me? Now I've got to go and do the work. I've got to go and do the work. That's what changes behavior. The behaviors then deliver the results that are different. And it's exactly the same thing here as what you're describing. I think the other thing is that authenticity then from the conversations we had before, it seems to me that part of that is recognizing, hey, this is a cause that we do want to get behind. Hey, we have got some fluency that we can do here. However, right now, maybe we're better off standing in the corner as the ring man, patting down the main boxer and support somebody else as in the ring as the champion of this. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily always having to be seen as the hero. I think that's what I'm also getting. Would you agree with that? Is that what comes out of this?
I totally agree. It's actually a recommendation I'm giving to a client right now before I jumped on this call that I was working on. Again, it's perception, and that's from my comms background. I can see how it's very important for companies who are working on issues to acknowledge there are tons of grassroots and nonprofit organizations who are rolling up their sleeves for way less money and pay to really drive forward the issues that you now want to insert yourself into. So the best thing to do as you get your issue fluency out is to become aware of what the landscape looks like. And your best role might be, hey, I have a platform. I have a huge marketing platform. I have a huge social media following. I have a huge consumer base. How do I use that platform to bolster the organizations that are already doing this work in a super authentic way for no reward other than to see the issue move forward? So we often recommend that because that's usually a good place to be, especially when you don't have high issue fluency, the ability to acknowledge that.
Yeah, and it gets you on that path, it gets you on the journey, and then that issue fluency will build up surely over time. The more you get submersed anyway, then you can get into the ring. But it's not about leaping straight into the ring.
No.
Ring man patting down and helping that way. Just quiet, subtle. Not always.
And that's how I think it's different from the business side, and you can't just take what you're doing on the business side and convert it on the social impact side.